Hello, welcome to my video about a game I have put a lot of hours into, and it's a card game, and it's the only real card game that I've got very into. Uh, it's The Elder Scrolls Legends, and I know what you're saying, Justin. That's a dead game. It's been dead for a long time. Well, in the past few months, I have found out that there's still a fairly active player base, at least a few hundred very hardcore fans of the game. So I have two decks that I really like playing with. I actually have a few decks, but these three at the bottom are kind of in the works or not really competitive, but just kind of fun. Anyway, we'll come back to this one. I'm gonna show you two of my decks. We'll do a match with each one, and then you can also kind of see how the game works, and it actually is a lot of fun. Um, and maybe if you're interested, you can play too because it's a free to play game. Hmm, good wine. Okay, so this is my Bandari Skeever deck. There are two sets of cards that are very helpful. They work well off each other. I have a few ways that I can really fuck someone up with this deck, and that's what you want. When you make a deck, you want something that even if your plan A gets fucked up, your backup strategy is still really good. So you start with three cards, and I redrew two cards that I didn't want because this is one of the key cards of this deck, this Bandari Opportunist. So it has Charge, which is the magic equivalent to Haste, and it's a 1/1 creature, one cost, and it shuffles another card of a Bandari Opportunist into the deck. But that one has as a summon ability that it draws one card. Why is that important? You can only have a max when you make a deck of three cards with the same name. Meaning, uh, when I start the deck, I had three Bandari Opportunists in the deck when I started the game. That's what I meant to say. And now I still have three, even though I played one. And if I could have kept that one on the board longer and hit him two times, three times, four times, five times, I would have, four or five, or I guess at that point, like eight or nine copies in the deck, which is good. That's part of the strategy for this build. So I played this guy earlier. All he does is you draw a card, and if it costs 7 or more, you reduce his cost by 1. Which I got the Skeever Infestation, which is the second aspect of this win, which makes me feel pretty confident about how this is going. There's a few things I'm worried about just because of his attributes he's playing. He's an assassin, which means he has blue, which is intelligence, and green, which is agility cards in his deck, and I guess he could also have neutral cards, which are gray. We haven't seen any of those so far, I think. Prophecy. That's a concept I'll explain here in a minute. Because prophecy is kind of it's one of the things that I think is fairly unique to this game, and I enjoy the concept of it. It makes for fun builds and all that.
I want to be an assassin, like Mario.
I'm sorry, a lot of things are going on. I'm talking, I'm not really explaining a whole lot. But the lanes are also something that makes the game really unique, maybe more than the prophecies. But you have your field lane over here, and you have your shadow lane over here. And why that's important is because if you summon something to the shadow lane, you probably noticed it has like a little shadow over it. That means that your opponent can't outright attack it next turn. They have to wait till your next turn when it comes out of shadow. And that's kind of funny. Oh, okay. I forgot he's gonna do that again, I guess. Okay, that's still kind of funny. Let's see, what do I want to do? What am I gonna do this turn? I only have two creatures in my card. There's actions, creature, sorry, items and supports. We haven't gotten our supports that we want for this game yet. And that's been kind of disappointing because that's another one of my winning conditions if I can get my supports on the board. So basically, oh, see this? That's bad. That is bad. There's only one thing I can really do about that. Okay, so I'm gonna do that just to get him out of the way. This is one of those cards, very few in the game, that are immune to lethal, which is like insta-death. Even if you just have one attack point, you still kill. Can't be shackled, which means I can't make it skip its next turn. And I can't target with actions. So I kind of have... I thought I had a better option there, but... Well, I did have a better option there, but I didn't think he was going to do that where he got rid of my guard, which means, you know, guards have to be attacked first thing. So I have to do this. Last resort type of dealie. Gonna unsummon him. Get him back in his fucking hand. Asshole. Play that guy to draw a card. That could have been handy earlier. Well, no, I guess I made the right choice. Good choices were made.
The Black Hand sees all.
Get that guy out there. He puts 3 copies of Brotherhood Assassin into my deck, which are 1-cost 3/3 cards with lethal and draw a card. Really great if I can get those.
I want to be an assassin, like Naru.
And also about the lanes, I probably should have mentioned. You probably noticed you can't attack across lanes. So there's actually a fair amount of strategy about where you put your cards in the lane. What the hell? Play a prophecy from your hand. Oh, okay. That was a fairly good game. I got the cards initially I wanted, but then they were just not dropping. He was doing good too. That was a good game. Sorry I didn't get to really show you how it works super well. We'll move on to my triggered deck. It's something I haven't seen a lot of people play with something like this. And it's kind of sad because it's a lot of fun, at least for me. The reason I call it my triggered deck is because it's supposed to, one, have a lot of creatures with summon abilities, which is like a trigger, and it's also supposed to trigger the opponent a bit. It's supposed to really, I have gotten a lot of rage quits with this deck, just because it fucks with your hand, your opponent's hand, it fucks with your opponent's deck. It just does all the things that I want it to do to just ruin somebody's experience. Because we all have cards in our hand for a reason. So when I turn your highest cost card into like a 2-cost 2/2 mummy, yeah, I'm sure that's very frustrating. Okay, ooh, he might have a lot of items, but it looks like an invade deck. You can kind of tell what kind of strategies and cards, obviously, they're going to have in their deck just based off this little bit of information of what attributes they're playing. And I can't remember if I had the ring last time around, but this little ring here, you can use it to boost your magicka, which you gain 1 magicka every turn until you hit 12. But it's, I don't know, just a little what do you want to call it? Even in the playing field, because you go second, I guess. So this guy right here shuffles 3 copies of a card with 3/3. Oh no, it's right here. 3/3 into my deck, which is good. These Borrow Stalkers are actually pretty nice. They're a little susceptible to a lot of actions because they have 2 attack and 3 defense. But generally speaking, it's a really good card for, just being a 2-cost. And it's got Drain and Guard, which Drain just means if you attack, however much damage you attack for, in this case 2, you, the player, gain 2 health. So, He's gonna break my rune next turn, which we need to talk about runes. Did we talk about runes? We did not. I think I alluded to runes.
Did I stutter or
Um,
something?
I'm contemplating whether I should just destroy this creature right here, because I know what this deck is now for sure. He is gonna destroy my rune and invade. Or should I wait? I don't know. I'm not gonna bother with it. I'll put this out here. This is a support card. Some of them have limited uses. Some of them just are permanent. It really depends. Shit. These are all shit. This one here is kind of cool. You get to look at a 1 cost, 2 cost, and 3 cost action. And it shows you 3 of them. You pick one, that type of deal. Okay, so these decks, this is where Bethesda fucked up with this game. Maybe not even necessarily Bethesda, whoever was running this project. These can be super OP. I'm not even sure what I mean by that. But essentially there's a lot of ways this got out of hand when it first came out, and I honestly can't remember if they fucking fixed it or not.
I
Did you
smell the
fix it or
stench of
not?
the living.
What the hell? What the fuck? What? Okay. What was I talking about? Uh-huh. Alright. This invader deck. That's right. So invading happens either through like a card, like this one has summon invade, or when you play an action of some kind, like these guys right here, they invade every time a rune breaks. And when you invade, it summons this Oblivion Gate. Well, at least the first time that's what happens. Oh my god, this guy's gonna kick my ass. Which I gotta kill this right now. I mean, it might be too late already, honestly. Let's see, what can I do? What the fuck can I do? Okay, that's the best I could do. It's probably not gonna be enough. So that Oblivion Gate, when it gains levels up to like 12 or some shit. But with every level, it's like give every Daedra creature, which obviously he has a lot of, 0 plus 0 plus 1, and then it will be like give every Daedra creature plus 1, and then plus 1 and a random keyword, and 2 keywords, 3 keywords, blah blah, until they're super, OP, pretty much.
I rend your flesh. Do not touch
And he's gonna win, just by the way, which is fine. I kind of wish I would have won a match. Oh yeah, he definitely won. I mean, honestly, at this point, I probably could just concede. But we'll play it out. This is a card I really like. I didn't get the opportunity to play it. I mean, I could have, but there's such a great reason to keep it till the time is right.
You'll not be rid of me that easily.
Wasn't a whole lot I could do. This all just happened way too fast. He just invaded like 7 times in one turn or some shit. And then that just was like... I didn't have the good enough early game cards to really do anything about it. And that's something that this deck really is bad about, is if you fall behind and you don't have low cost cards to play, you're going to be hanging on by a thread at the end. Or in that case, I got pretty much blown out. Anyway, the rune thing that I was talking about, every time you break a rune, so every time you lose 5 health, you draw a card. You probably noticed that. And if it's a prophecy card, that means that the game stops, his turn stops, and you can play that card right then and there, and then his turn will return. It basically gives you the opportunity to play a free card in the middle of his turn, their turn, whoever's turn. Okay, that was 15 minutes of this shit. If you think it's cool, that's great. If you don't, that's great. And if you watched all the way to the end, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your life? Fucking find something to do. But also, thank you. I do appreciate it.